What do you think about the montage where Kyler was like, lock in to himself in the first episode?
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. They're weird. They're weird.
They're bizarre.
Because you're right. Everyone has always said this. Cliff is kind of likable, even though from the outside the perception, right, is like he's good looking. He just got the job because he has the look. But he's never really won, whatever. But clearly he grinds, right?
How Pimps is bad. It's pretty sweet.
Awesome. He's like, there's Camelback. Never see it because when I leave it's dark. When I get home it's dark. Steve Kime was driving to work in the sunlight, but
he did drop too. Like, it's probably good I'm not married because I can just come home. I'm stressed out and just do myself.
He watches the Dateline murder mystery shows on Friday nights. That's his thing.
How sweet was that room that he watches?
I got caught on one and I was like, this is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, there's about some
rancher. It was actually like some Yellowstone style thing. But Buda Baker gives a shit. Like, that's the guy, if you told me he is or isn't playing, would matter a lot. Just when you watch, like, holy smokes, this guy's the heart of their team.
Right? I think JJ obviously cares.
JJ clearly cares. Tries to be a leader. But, their thing was, we got 3 games. We got to win them. Well, they lost the first one. They won the second one. I don't know really what they're playing for on a road game in Mexico City, but the one thing that jumps out when you watch them is just the people they have. They've got Buda, they got JJ, they got Hopkins. They've just got enough guys that can.
I'd say Isaiah Simmons makes some splash plays.
Isaiah Simmons. What was the other guy we were talking about earlier?
Xavier Collins.
Xavier Collins had an incredible pick 6 last couple of weeks. So pressure. They're just playing a team with the pressure on them.
They cut Eno. About 7 people claimed him. I've liked Eno since.
Yeah, you have.
He was. I wonder if he did something. I saw his playing time was down a little bit, but it feels a little more than that. Like, it's a playing time, and did he not show up to a meeting? Like, as a fuck you, and you're losing. It's just your classic. It's the move I love. Like, cut somebody, just rattle some cages, because I do think it works. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, wait, they just cut the guy who was starting for us 2 weeks ago. I like that move.
Yeah,
because I just think it kind of keeps Kyler wouldn't even realize, but just some other guys. Because part of like Buda screaming at those guys, this is a major difference between the Niners and Arizona, is when your best players truly care, you're in really good shape. And Buda's a good example. He's the best player on the team, and he truly gives a shit. But he feel like he's kind of on an island. And then you have this, like, I don't want to say he's a has-been, but like JJ's success was not with these guys. He was a star with the other team. And now he's an old guy kind of like patched together. Where the Niners, like, their heartbeat is like Fred Warner, is George Kittle, is Deebo Samuel, is Trent Williams, is Nick's not like the vocal leader, but just his play. Like, he's flying around there like he's Buda Baker.
Did you see the NFL Hard Knocks? Not the Hard Knocks, the NFL films of Hufanga? I mean, not Hufanga. Warner giving the hype up speech, and then Bosa's is like, yeah, everything he said, man.
And it just shows you your best players have to matter the most in terms of their give a fuck.
Yeah.
And Belichick's thing, because remember in their heyday, they would always trade out of the first round. It's like, well, I could never have a guy being like the 3rd highest paid guy on our team as a rookie. And he refused to do it. And it was a psychology thing. And I don't know how every human being, I don't care if you've worked in what corporate office, anyone listening to this has had a normal person job. Obviously, the numbers are a lot different than people making $30, $40, $50 million. But if it's $80,000 and $120,000 or $130,000 and $200,000, that's what we talk about in the office, right? Wait, this guy, they really gave that guy that title and paying him that much. That guy. But the one guy who's the best, you're like, yeah, he's worth every penny. It's like, he honestly, he's making $400K. What would this company be with that? What would our division be without that guy? And you all know it. He's making $45 million. $45 million.
John, they put a clause in his contract that says he has to study.
$45 million.
Who do you have to tell to study? There was I didn't think
it was just now. How bad is his body language?
Body language is bad. He's not.
He's small, so his body language looks worse.
Then they cut to Colt, and Colt's like kind of talking. Colt in episode 2 was almost coaching the quarterback's coach at one point, like talking to him, like hyping him up. And Colt's like taking notes, and Kyler's sitting there with like a single sheet of paper on the desk in front of him, Which I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put too much on it, but it made me think of you saying the other day when they showed him, he wasn't really even like listening to what the play calls were. And I said, well, maybe it's because you don't need to. He just knows all the plays. But
did you know who the third guy was in the first episode? The third quarterback?
Well, I didn't, but then I saw the other day Trace McSorley or whatever.
Yeah, because when he came into the game, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Just
Penn
the
State.
other guy sitting there.
Yeah.
And then when he came into the game, when Colt kind of like rolled up on his knee and had to be helped off, it's like, oh, that's Trace McSorley that was in the other quarterback room.
Yeah.
I just it was like, Bailey Zappi divided by 3 from, some random school
Cooper
in
Rush.
Louisiana. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's Trace McSorley. I mean, at one point in time, Trace McSorley might have been like, I'm just as good as Kyler Murray in college.
Right.
And then he wasn't. And now Kyler makes 45, and that guy's basically fringe practice squad, gets elevated on game day when there's an injury.